I used to really struggle in my business, but as soon as I started doing this, I made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And it's so simple to do, and you have the power to do it also because all that you have to use is your mouth and your tongue. That's what she said. Look, if you just use your mouth the right way, you can get whatever you want in life. That's what she said. That sounded crazy. But seriously, this is only going to take me about 5 minutes to break down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you just keep on sleeping on something that you've already experienced that will change your life forever. So look, most entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs out there, they're struggling to grow their business online because they're not telling stories or they're not telling their stories. So the power in building a business online is being able to use your words to convey a message, to paint a picture of a story, to connect with somebody. And that builds what I call the know, like, and trust factor, because people buy stuff from people that they know, like, and trust. So most people are out here thinking that people are going to want to buy whatever their digital product is. And yes, people, they do want to buy that product, but they want to buy that product secondly. Firstly, they're going to be buying into you first. And why are they going to buy into you first and then your product second? Because they're going to come to know you once they discover you. Then they're going to come to like you. And then they're going to come to trust you. And then they're going to believe in you to have that solution to their problem to then buy your actual digital product. So remember this. People, we are emotional creatures and we buy from emotion and then justify with logic. So if you're able to tell proper stories that will connect with somebody, you will hit those emotional triggers that will then turn them into buyers, to whereas then they will start to use their logic and then buy your product from you. And this is something that huge companies have been doing since for forever. So like a business that I've studied for years is Nike. And a lot of people, they think that Nike sells athletic apparel, but they don't. Nike, they sell stories. Nike, they tell inspirational stories that are relatable to their demographic that they're speaking to tie into those emotions, to make those people feel something, and then they go out and buy the product. So I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, the number one Michael Jordan commercial that stuck with me was him, and he wasn't even in his uniform or anything like that. He was just in his suit. I think it might have been a trench coat, and he's just walking down a tunnel, and he's just talking about all the times that he failed. I failed at this, I failed at that, I lost this many times, I had the ball in my hand with the game on the line, and I missed, I failed. And that's why I succeed. Boom, then the Jumpman logo came up. If you look back at any of the older Serena Williams commercials, they didn't just show Serena Williams just hitting the ball, just no, right? They always showed Serena's whole story arc. They showed her as a child. They showed her and her pops training in Compton in the middle of the hood around game bangers. Then they showed her with the little beads in her head. Then they showed her as a teenager winning this tournament, then Wimbledon, becoming the greatest of all time, business mogul, sex icon, Serena Williams. Boom. Same thing with Tiger Woods. They didn't just show Tiger Woods hitting a golf club, right? They showed Tiger Woods' entire story arc. They would show him as a little kid, training with his pops into what he became today. Then in the later Tiger Woods commercials, when he was still with Nike, they started to show that whole story arc, and then they started to insert his son Charlie into those same advertisements, because Charlie is a splitting image of his pops. Literally all their mannerisms are the exact same. So they were basically showing the story arc of saying how the story comes full circle. They even did the same thing with LeBron James. I know I'm a big basketball fan, but they will always talk about his upbringing, all the things that he overcame to become the king. LeBron James, the chosen one, right? So you need to tell your story, and you need to tell stories, period, in your content. So most people, they're just out here just trying to educate people or just trying to tell people about the knowledge that they have. And I'm like, yeah, that knowledge that you have, that is cool, but you're not building any of that connection with anybody, because stories are what actually sells. So within that informational content, you need to tell some stories from time to time, or sprinkle in some of those stories, or sprinkle in some examples of some stories that you've been through to actually connect with people. And most people, they have no clue on how to tell stories either. And there's 5 parts to telling a good story. And throughout my time, people have told me that I'm a pretty good storyteller. So you're at the right place at the right time. And this will just benefit you in anything, let alone business. I think everything that benefits you in business will benefit you just in your regular everyday life also, because this was stuff that I found out that I was pretty good at even before I started being an entrepreneur, because all my boys and my friends, they would always want me around if we're having a get together or a kickback or something. And they're like, no, because you tell the good stories. Like, or if there's some girls around, they would be like, no, you tell a story. And I would ask them, why you want me to tell a story? You was there too. And they're like, no, but you tell it better. Like, you tell it better. And this stuff has been helping me out just in my whole life. And it's made me over 7 figures in my business also. So look, the first thing in telling a good story, or telling your story, or telling any story for any examples that you have, always state a location. Say where you are in the story. The reason you want to do that is so that the audience can visualize it. So you got to think, if they're looking at your content, and if you're making talking head content, or even if you have nice edits with B-roll and all that type of stuff, they still need to visualize it in their mind. So you can either just explain it, or maybe you can show it in B-roll or whatnot, but always state your location and tell them where you are in the story. And then secondly, state what you're doing. What are you doing in that location? The reason you want to do this is because it takes the audience right into the moment. And then the third thing that you want to do is that you want to talk about what it is that you were thinking. Now, why do you want to talk about this? Because it makes you come off as relatable. And you become more relatable when you actually share your honest thoughts that you were having in that actual moment of your story. Because where a lot of people mess up and where a lot of people aren't clicking with people is because they're not relatable. They're here, they're trying to sound too smart, or they're trying to use professional words instead of just sharing honest, true feelings and honest, true thoughts that they were having at the time. And then after that, the fourth thing is that you want to talk about what it was that you were feeling. Remember, we're telling these stories to build an emotional connection with somebody. Because remember, humans, all of us, including you and I, we're all emotional creatures. And emotion builds connection. And even remember, from a business standpoint, people, they buy from emotion and then they justify with logic. And then when you talk about what you were feeling, when you talk about certain emotions that you were going through, when you actually start to connect with somebody, remember, it builds that know, like, and trust factor, because people buy stuff from people that they know, like, and trust. But when you're talking about your feelings in a story, don't just talk about it, show it. Show it through your facial expressions, show it through your body movements, right? They need to see it, but they need to feel it also. And then the fifth thing in a good story, and this could be optional, but you want to talk about what it was that you were hearing also, whether that be some type of background noise, some noise that you heard off, or something that you were hearing within yourself. So I'll give you an example of a story that puts all these 5 things together. And this story, I've used it in content, I've used it in live webinars, I've used it years ago when I was running ads, I've used it in live presentations, or when I'm speaking live in front of a crowd of people in person. And even outside of business, I've told this story just amongst friends or in groups and gatherings or something, just to get some laughs. But I just want to give you a quick example of how you put these 5 parts of a story together. And the story that I'm telling is at this job that I used to have when I used to clean parking lots, right? I used to drive a sweeper truck, and my job basically was that I would pull up at parking lots, I would have a leaf blower on my back. I would blow out all the trash out into the parking lots, and then I would drive over the trash that I blew up with the sweeper truck, and then I would change all the trash beds. But anyways, so here's the story. Here's the example. So I was working one night driving my sweeper truck, and on my route there was this huge parking lot that I had to clean that had like a Planet Fitness, a Kroger grocery store, all these other businesses, a Baskin Robbins, and then at the end there was a Hooters, you know, the Hooters restaurant. And outside of just cleaning the parking lot, a part of my job was that I had to change out the trash cans in front of each actual business, right? It was disgusting. But every time that I would get to the trash can in front of the Hooters, I would really try to hide myself. Like I would take my hoodie and I would scrunch it up all tight. I would hold my mask high up over my face because I didn't want any of the girls in the Hooters to see me being a glorified trash man, because I knew some of them. I was cool with some of the girls, and I was embarrassed. Like, I wasn't proud of what I was doing with my life at the time. I didn't feel good about myself. I wasn't proud of me. And, you know, looking back on it, it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, they work at Hooters, and I'm over here cleaning parking lots. Like, neither one of us are doing some good stuff right now. But at the time, I couldn't see it. I'm just like, oh, woe is me. I'm over here cleaning these parking lots, doing this nasty job, changing out these trash cans and whatnot. And I don't want the cute girls in the Hooters to look at me because they know who I am. They're gonna be like, oh, look at him, he's just cleaning parking lots. But I remember this particular night, once I had all the trash bags, I threw them on top of my truck, and there was a dumpster behind the strip mall. And I'm throwing all the trash bags into the dumpster, but when I was taking one of the trash bags off the top of my truck, it had a little hole in it. And I swear to you, a little drop of trash can juice came out and it landed on my lip. And I swear I heard it say, and I was like, oh, I know you playing. I know this ain't life right now. And side note, ever since that day, I never throw any liquid away into a public trash can because I think of the person that has to throw that away. And I don't know if you have ever experienced random trash can juice hitting your lip, but it is fucking disgusting. But I got back in that truck, in that sweeper truck with trash can juice on my lip. And I really thought about my life and like, what am I doing with myself? But that was the genesis of me putting a plan together to better my life. I saved up $1,200, wasn't the most amount of money, but saved up $1,200. I drove across country in my beat up car. I slept on my friend's floor, got a job, and then I could go on and on and on and on and on about the story, right? I could talk about how I fired that job and then got another job working at the bank to learn how money works. And then I could talk about how I fired my job April 1st, 2016. 6 months after that, got my first check as an entrepreneur, $16,500. And I could talk about how I got started in online business, but you get the point here, right? But if I just talk about that little excerpt of me changing those trash cans at Hooters, I covered all 5 of the topics. I hit the location. I said where I was. I talked about what I was doing. I talked about what I was thinking. I talked about what I was feeling. I talked about what it was that I was hearing, right? Now, if I was actually just making a video or some type of content or some type of presentation where I'm telling my backstory to connect with somebody, I'm gonna go a little more in depth with that. But I just wanted to give you an example because stuff like that, it further builds my credibility when I show them the entire transformation of who I used to be to what I overcame to what levels of success that I have hit today. To whereas other people have been through whatever their internal battles are. Other people have been through certain things where they weren't the most proud of what they were doing in life. Other people had stages in their lives that they may be going through where they feel like can't get right. Like, dang, I can't get nothing right. Everything's so hard. Like, like life is lifing right now. And I've been through those lifing moments. But in order to build that connection with somebody to whereas they feel as if what I'm saying to them is possible, and keyword on feel, because remember, people, we're emotional creatures, right? We need to feel like we can do it. We need to feel like we can receive the transformation. And telling a story with somebody is going to build that connection to make them feel as if they can accomplish what it is that you're saying that you have to offer, so you can get numbers coming in online your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join the It's Credited at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. And we're going up to $97 a month here pretty soon. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap in. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But look, don't just be out here trying to educate everybody. Yes, educate people and actually help people with the information that you do have, but have some storytelling elements be a part of your content that you have that is giving some information to somebody, that is bringing some awareness to somebody. Because people, yeah, they're going to want to learn something, but they want to learn something from people that they know, like, and trust. And that trust factor is the big point into getting them to actually exchange their money with you for the value that you provide in exchange. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here for 3 tiny digital products that you'll make at least 100K with. It's credited at the top.